Where do you see Ira?
And on Facebook and YouTube.
And we're going to give it a minute or two because YouTube usually lags in terms of getting us up there. So you still have another moment or two. I like the Harrison's aunt and uncle. I'm guessing as a description. That's great.
They're the best. We love you.
I like it when you lose personality to just being aunts and uncles. Okay, Sarah is not here yet. Hey, Karen, can you try to get a hold of Sarah and see if she has the right login?
Which Sarah?
Sarah Baylor, who was supposed
Hi,
to.
Jason.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, do you have her information?
If it's Show Cloud, I do.
Scroll down.
I don't think so. I'm going to give you her phone number right now.
Okay,
That's it.
just private message me. Or private.
Mhm.
You got it?
The teacher? or who?
No. His
Okay.
parent.
The phone. Maybe if I have a phone. Hang on.
Okay, so
All right, I'm going to mute everybody right now so we can get started. So we have been having a lot of wonderful conversations. We had our Yisker about an hour and a half ago. And afterwards, a number of people, small but powerful groups, stayed on. And I was off in my kitchen preparing some part of the dinner. And I was listening to everyone talk. And it was really quite wonderful how full the conversation was and how varied it was. But now we move into Shabbat. And do we have, my Kentucky accent's coming through. Do we have a full evening? Tonight is, let's count them, Shabbat. It is Simchat Torah. It's Shmini Atzeret. We don't have just one bar mitzvah. We have two. Oh, and we also have a conversion tonight. So we have a lot going on. Lots of honoring, a lot of celebrating, a lot of simcha, a lot of joy. There is a beauty in these evenings where we come together and we each have our own connection to some of this happiness. And even if we don't have a connection, we begin to connect. We begin to sense the happiness of the events that are either occurring, the holidays that are meant for each and every one of us, and the joys that are occurring for other families. So I'm going to turn it over to the Cantor right now. She put together a Simchat Torah medley, which I know is going to bring joy to each and every heart. At least it will to mine tonight. Cantor.
שישו ושמחו בשמחת תורה ותנו כבוד לתורה 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 שישו ושמחו אוי שישו ושמחו אוי שישו בשמחת תורה שישו ושמחו אוי שישו ושמחו אוי שישו בשמחת תורה אלך עמדה ליבי חוסנה ועל תתעלם אלך חמדה ליבי חוסנה ועל תתעלם אלך חמדה ליבי חוסנה ועל תתעלם אלך חמדה ליבי חוסנה ועל תתעלם חוסנה ועל תתעלם אלך חמדה ליבי חוסנה ועל תתעלם ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. עיר המים, עיר המים, עיר המים ומלואו. עיר המים, עיר המים, עיר המים ומלואו. עיר המים, עיר המים, עיר המים ומלואו. עיר המים, עיר המים, עיר המים ומלואו.
That both made me very happy to hear some of those melodies we hear while we're doing our 7 hakafot, and also a little melancholy, because I would love to be in the social hall with a couple hundred people right now, dancing around and having a drink or two. But next year, this year we are safe, and next year, hopefully we'll be back in our sanctuary and we'll be able to do that full celebration we all so love. So tonight we're going to move on right now to Shalom Aleichem. And if you have a book, we are on page 142. Shalom Aleichem speaks about angels. In today's world, there's so many angels, so many caregivers, so many people concerned about feeding others, so many people reaching out. Are you an angel? Or do you have angels surrounding you and helping you? So as we sing about angels coming into our lives, let's realize angels are active every day. Active through the actions of every person who wants to will perform an act of tikkun olam. Cantor, page 142, Shalom Aleichem.
שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. צאתכם לשלום מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון ממלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש
The chaos of having young children. It always warms my heart. So we're now going to move to page 138. We'll be singing Lachadodi verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. So I started off by saying tonight is also Shmini Atzeret, the 8th day of the Atzeret, which I know is very important to each and every one of you. I know you spend months focusing on the 8th day of the Atzeret. To be honest, it's a moment that most Jews don't even know what it means. And there's even confusion with our tradition as to what it means. So there are multiple ways of looking at it. One way is to say it's the 8th day of Sukkot, but because it's special, it's different. They gave it a different name. And we're told not to invite guests to our Sukkot, only family. That 8th day is meant just for those tight personal relationships. And I like to think about it that way because it shows that we're both separate and connected. We're just with family in the Sukkah on that 8th night. But we're also connected because every other family should be doing the same. And connectedness, that's what Lachadodi is about. It's about that Sabbath bride, that Sabbath queen coming into our lives and connecting with us. We can't stay connected all the time. It's like Martin Buber speaking about I-it and I-thou relationships. You can't constantly be in an I-thou relationship. You have to step out of it. You have to live life. And there are a lot of basic duties to life. But occasionally you need that 8th day to be with family and to connect with communities and families around the world. And occasionally, once a week, you need to invite in the Sabbath bride to help elevate your soul. So we are on page 138, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And if you'd like, if you can, please rise on the final verse, face the door, and we'll all do some bowing together. Cantor.
לחדודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בא אורך ומאורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. rise and face the door to welcome Shabbat. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We're now going to try something we have never tried before. Because tonight we aren't just celebrating one bar mitzvah, we're celebrating two. We have Harrison, whose bar mitzvah is tomorrow afternoon, and we have Noah, whose bar mitzvah is tomorrow morning, and I hope I got that right in the right order. And both families are going to light candles in separate locations. So I'm going to ask Harrison's family to unmute themselves and to join us. Once you unmute, and then explain your Shabbat candles to us, or just say Shabbat Shalom. And then if you could then mute yourself, and I'll call on Noah's family, please.
He's gonna unmute.
We are on mute.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
We're happy to be here. We're excited for Harrison's bar mitzvah. These are candlesticks my mother and father would recognize. These were given to us by our great grandparents, and we're blessed to have them. And we will say the prayer. Yes.
Hold off. Hold off on the prayer yet. We're going to put you in freeze mode for a second. And now I'm going to ask Noah's family to come on and explain to us where they are and where they're lighting the candles.
So we are actually at Cal Lutheran this evening outside. In Kingsman Park, enjoying a picnic with our son. And so we actually brought candlesticks that we're using that won't, if the wind blows, they won't blow out. So
And they won't light the forest on fire.
and they won't light the trees on fire.
Mazel tov to both families. I'm going to ask you to light your candles now, please.
No, can you hold the candles?
La 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר וציוונו להדליק נר של השבת.
Mazel tov to both families. I know that tomorrow is just going to be a day filled with simcha, with joy. So we didn't want to put the bar mitzvah boys under too much stress doing their first prayers live in front of a Zoom audience. So what we've done is we actually taped them during their rehearsals, leading prayers. So I'm going to ask everyone to rise for the Baruch Hu. And as we rise, I'm going to start a video of Harrison leading us in the Baruch Hu. Now you're going to have to be patient because my sharing skills are only mediocre at best. but hopefully this will work.
Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach. Hamevorach leolam vaed. Hamevorach. Hamevorach leolam vaed.
And now you may all be seated. Yasher Koach. And you should all write your Yasher Koachs on the screen. I already said they're coming up. Great job. You're going to be even more amazing tomorrow. So we now have, I think, our fourth special thing. I can't even keep count anymore. We're actually going to be completing a conversion tonight. So as many of you know, because I've been with you for about 10 years now, that really conversions have a three-part process for us. There's the Beit Din, where the convert comes before a court of clergy or soon-to-be clergy. And then once they pass through the Beit Din, they go to a mikvah. And then finally they come and they present themselves to the community. And they make a statement in front of the community they've already made, well, to the rabbinic court, but a statement about joining the community. And I know that all of you who have done this with me in the past are aware that we have a phrase we shout out. And that phrase is Brucha Haba'ah B'Shem Adonai. Blessed is she who comes in the name of the community. So we are going to shout this out. And then hopefully she's going to say hello and we're going to be able to see Sarah's screen. And then we'll do a spotlight video on her. But Sarah, once we do it 3 times, that's your cue to say hello and Shabbat Shalom. And that way we'll be able to get your image up on screen. So here we go. Repeat after me very loudly. I know no one can hear it but you guys, but it's still important to do it loudly. Brucha Haba'ah B'Shem Adonai. Brucha Haba'ah B'Shem Adonai. Brucha Haba'ah B'Shem Adonai.
There we go.
Hi.
Hello, Sarah. I'm going to spotlight you right now.
Shabbat Shalom.
I got Carol. This is the other spotlight. Let me add myself. Give me 1 second. There, exactly the way I wanted it right there. Hello, Sarah. So how was the mikvah?
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Well,
Really incredible.
I'm glad to hear that. I know it can be a very cathartic experience the first time you did it. So you're feeling a little nervous tonight?
Yeah.
So you only have about 5,000 people watching you. No, I'm only kidding. And we probably have about 60 people watching you. But this is your moment to really come before the community. And I have to say that I was very, very impressed. I keep doing a split screen and people, I don't know who's canceling it. Are you guys seeing both me and Sarah at this moment? Who are you seeing? Sarah? Okay, I'm gonna remove my spotlight. That's interesting.
You want me to spotlight Sarah?
I've already got,
She's not spotlighted.
I'm gonna get Sarah spotlighted. Give me 1 second.
There's Carol.
Hi, Carol.
There we go. I got Sarah spotlighted now. So Sarah, we all get a look at you. 10 years ago, Sarah began the conversion process. 10 years. For 10 years, she thought about being Jewish. For 10 years, she studied and She kept saying, I need to complete this process. And she finally did it. She did it this week. And her rabbinic court consisted of myself and the Cantor, our religious school director, who's a soon-to-be rabbi, an Erev Rav, somebody who's in the final stage of his study, and our rabbinic intern. And I have to say that many of her answers brought all of us to tears. She was one of the most heartfelt converts we have had in quite a while. Someone who truly feels, well, the importance of Judaism and who understands the enormity of developing this connection and becoming part of the tribe. So Sarah, I'm going to ask you right now to read the statement that comes from the Rabbi's manual that you were sent today. Read it to the community, please.
Of my own free will, I choose to enter the eternal covenant between God and the people of Israel and to become a Jew. I accept Judaism to the exclusion of all other religious faiths and practices. Under all circumstances, I will be loyal to the Jewish people and to Judaism. I promise to establish a Jewish home and to participate actively in the life of the synagogue and of the Jewish community. I commit myself to the pursuit of Torah and Jewish knowledge. If I should be blessed with children, I promise to raise them as Jews.
And I think to that we should all do a big amen. So put your amens in the chat window to agree to Sarah's statement, because that is a very important one. And she had to read it in front of the rabbinic court the other day, and it was, well, very emotional that moment and very emotional still. So Sarah, it's now time for me to officially give you your Hebrew name. Elohei v'Elohei avatenu v'imotenu kayemet ha'isha hazot vayikra shma b'Yisrael Ruth bat Avraham v'Sarah. Our God and God of our ancestors, sustain this woman. Let her be known among the people of Israel as Ruth bat Avraham v'Sarah, Ruth, the spiritual child of our first Jewish couple, Abraham and Sarah. May she be blessed with strength and with courage as she embarks on a new lifelong journey. With love and with wisdom, may she be privileged to experience the meaning of the covenant which she has entered today. May she seek truth in the ways of peace, very true in today's world. And may her heart be open to Torah and its ways. May Ruth bat Avraham v'Sarah grow into greatness as a blessing to her family, to her people, and to her community, and to all humanity. And as she has entered this covenant, so may she attain the blessings of our people, Torah, Chuppah, and Maasim Tovim. And together we say, Amen. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yer Adonai panav elecha v'yihuneka, Yisrael Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May the light of God always shine upon you. And may, well, that's part of God that lives inside of your soul. May it shine so bright that it gives peace to all those who surround you. And together we say, Amen. And now Cantor is going to sing the priestly benediction over you.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך, יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך, יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום, וישם לך שלום, שלום שלום שלום.
And to that, we all need to offer another Amen. Now, Sarah wrote, when I asked her a question about God, she wrote down, God is not a man or a woman, but the hope and faith each one of us carries in the future. May each one of us carry hope and faith. That is God. That is what she finds in her heart to be holy. So I'm going to have Sarah lead us in the Shema right now. I'm going to ask us all to cover our eyes, but we can peek through if we want to watch. And I'm not going to ask you rise today. You can stay seated. That's fine. Let's cover our eyes, though, for the Shema, or partially cover our eyes. Sarah?
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevo, Mahuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Yasher Koach, and I now believe the Cantor is going to lead us in Siman Tov. Here we go.
Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov v'siman tov. Yehelanu, 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 u'lechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, yehelanu, u'lechol Yisrael. Siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov u'mazel tov v'siman tov, siman tov u'mazel tov, mazel tov v'siman tov. Yehelanu.
Mazel Tov, may this new journey be filled with blessings. And if you have any questions of us, our door to our synagogue is always open to you. Shabbat Shalom. And so now we're going to move forward with the V'ahavta. And we have our other bar mitzvah, Noah, who will be leading us in the V'ahavta. So I'm going to share a screen once again, and we're going to see if I can make this work. And here we go. Let me just click down a little bit. Oh.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Rabbi John, unmute yourself.
I just gave a great introduction to the Miach HaMolka and no one heard it. We continue on page 158 with the Miach HaMolka. The Miach HaMolka is a song of joy, and Sukkot is a holiday of joy, and so is Simchat Torah. We've got a lot of joy surrounding us after the reflective days of Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah. So let's sing Miach HaMolka with joy in our hearts as if we were a slave who was just freed from Egypt. Page 158, Cantor, please.
כמוך, מי כמוך באלים אדוני. נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מי כמוך באלים אדוני. נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך רעו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי ענו ואמרו. מי כמוך, מי כמוך באלים אדוני. נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך רעו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי, זה אלי, זה אלי ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. מי כמוך, מי כמוך באלים אדוני. נדר בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. יא לה 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 לה
We turn to page 162 for Vishamru, a prayer, a melody that reminds us both to protect Shabbat and to also observe it. And yet the ideas are intertwined. We protect Shabbat by observing it. And when we observe it, we protect it. Cantor, page 162, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, shvi shavat veinafash shavat veinafash shavat vayinafash veshamu bnei Israel et השבת לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדותם ברית עולם.
We turn to page 371 for the Misha Berach prayer. We say the Misha Berach to remember those and to think about those who are ill of mind, body, and spirit, and for their caregivers. While I have a list to read, if you have people in your life who need a healing prayer, please add their name to the chat window. Tonight on the Misha Berach list that I have been given, Louise Adhami, Bella Kane, Mary May Siafi, Jackson Dexter, Marissa Dupuis, Peggy Holm, Georgia Levenberg, Joe Luttrell, Ruben and Mahin Manavi, Jeff McCoy, Katya Nepom, Joe Norden, Rabbi Stephen Robbins, Jerry Shapiro, Phyllis Stolaroff, Andrea Domi Vargas, and of course, everyone battling COVID-19. Added to our list, Ed Weyer, Ted Korshak, Bob Wintrode, Judy Lukov and Helene Levy, David Tellerant, Debbie Rominger, Priscilla Hill, Nancy Braun, Stan Lieber, and Posey Kramer, George Benitez and Stephen Goodman, Julian Friedman. Misha Berach Avatenu Vimotenu, may the God of our ancestors grant a refuah shlema, a complete and full healing to all those named this evening and to all those we hold in our hearts. And together we say, Amen. Now the Cantor will lead us in the singing of Misha Berach.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו, may the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו, bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say
We turn to page 164 for the Amidah. Please note that tonight we move from Morid Hatal, thanking God for the dews we get during the summer, not D-U-E-S, but D-E-W-S, to Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem, thanking God for shifting winds and rain to fall. Because as Sukkot ends, we want to remind God that we need gentle rains to help crops grow and to help put out forest fires. So as we say this prayer, let us remember this change. We are on page 164. If you have a book, I'd like everyone to rise. Cantor.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov. Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ואלוהי לאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 180. When you're done with your silent prayer, you may be seated.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי.
יהיו רצון עם רפי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי May the words of my mouth, meditations of my heart be acceptable, if only unto you, oh God, my rock, creator of my soul. Adonai, my Redeemer. Adonai, my Redeemer.
So tonight's sermon is not a sermon. A few days ago, we gathered congregants together to unscroll the Torah, and we put together a video. So I'm going to, the video is going to be tonight's sermon. And you'll also be able to hear some Torah chanting as we're supposed to do at Simchat Torah. It's not the full experience, but at least it's a taste of Simchat Torah. So I'm going to once again share my screen.
חזק חזק ונתחזק.
So welcome to our unscrolling of the Torah for Simchat Torah. Today we have volunteers, congregants who are spaced 6 feet apart, and they're going to help us. They're going to help us with the unscrolling so we can give you a little taste of Simchat Torah in your homes. Here we go, the unscrolling.
Do we have enough people? Do we have enough Torah? We'll see what happens.
You guys are brothers? Slide down. I want you to hold right here very carefully. Great. We now unscroll the whole Torah. Great. Ishit bara. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And this is where we start our Torah each year. And so if we go and we look at the Torah, we see, well, we see it is written without vowels. We see it's written on parchment. We see the beauty of the discoloration, how it is different colors. Some yellow here, some white up here. Newer Torah, less discolored. And we go through the story of Genesis because the first book is all Genesis and it's all about the early Jews. And it takes us all the way through the story of Joseph. And as you can see, there's a big opening right here. This tells us we're starting a new book of the Torah. And we begin the story of Exodus. Ve'ela Shemot, these are the names of children of Israel that came, well, they came into Mitzrayim with Jacob. And we get the story of Moses. We get 4 books really of the story of Moses, and this is the beginning. This is where we cross the Sea of Reeds. We've just crossed that sea. We're joyful, we are happy. So we sing the song of the sea, and we find the Mi Chamocha, which is right in here. Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai. And as we proceed, we develop a society within Judaism. Right here we have our 10 commandments. You see lo, 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 and lo, There are 5 lows, 5 no's that occur in the second 5 commandments, the negative commandments, the things we should not do. And we see all 10 commandments right here, but it's not the only time we'll see them. We'll also see them later on in Deuteronomy. And we go through when we build a mishkan, a home for God, and we build, well, a system of judges, a system of government, a system of, well, of how to live as a society. Right here we start the book of Leviticus. Once again, a big break. Whenever we see this big break, starting. Vayikra el Moshe, V'yedaber Adonai. And God called out to Moses. And God called out, and know what God said? These are the laws of the priest, the laws of the temple. And they go on forever. If you want to learn how to sacrifice an animal, this is where you read it. But hopefully no one's doing that right now. Hopefully we're just praying. But we had a priestly cult, and this is what it talks about. How to keep God happy through ritual. How to make God part of our community. How to, well, interact when you have a cultic practice. And then we get to the book of Numbers. Pretty much we've jumped 40 years. We now have the new generation. They have just been born. The old generation has just died out. And they are ready to enter the land of Canaan because these are not slaves. These are free people who never knew slavery. And so we get the stories of their first battles. We learn about the history of the Jewish people in terms of what they want as they enter the land.
Sam Klein here. And as Rabbi John mentioned, here we see the beginning of the book of Numbers. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe Bamidbar. And just over here, oh, by the way, say hello to Mr. Gary Kishner, our Cohen, by the way. And what's amazing is he happens to have right over his right hand the priestly benediction. Yevarechacha Adonai v'yishmarecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. This is the priestly blessing that goes all the way back to this book of Numbers and beyond, that offers blessing from the priests to the people. And as Jews, we look at ourselves as a nation of priests. And
the book of Deuteronomy. It's the last day of Moses' life. He's reminding them of their journeys. He is telling them everything they need to know before they enter the land of Israel. And we go through all these stories, all these retellings throughout. He is speaking to them saying, I'm a leader who's about to die, and I want you to remember what it means to be in the desert. And finally at the very end, Moses goes to the top of Mount Nebo, and he passes away. And we learn at the very end, there will never be another prophet like Moses. This is our Torah scroll. It's 5 books. It's prehistory in Genesis, and then 4 books that are the story of Moses and the Jews' exodus from Egypt. This is the foundation to what we believe.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarah, Baruch Adonai Hamvarah Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai Hamvarah Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, Ve'natan lanu et tarato, Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen. Amen. ולא קם נביא עוד בישראל כמשה, אשר ידעו אדוני פנים אל פנים, לכל האותות והמופתים אשר שלחו אדוני לעשות בארץ מצרים, לפרעה ולכל עבדיו ולכל ארצו, ולכל היד החזקה ולכל המורא הגדול, אשר עשה משה לעיני כל ישראל. חזק, חזק ונתחזק. חזק חזק ונתחזק.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam metavtim.
Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvara, Baruch Adonai hamvara ve'olam va'ed, Baruch Adonai hamvara ve'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim,
Ve'natan lanu et tarato. Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
אמן. בראשית ברא אלוהים את השמיים ואת הארץ, והארץ הייתה תוהו ובוהו וחושך על פני תהום, ורוח אלוהים מרחפת על פני המים. ויאמר אלוהים יהי אור, ויהי אור. וירא אלוהים את האור כי טוב, ויבדל אלוהים בין האור ובין החושך. ויקרא אלוהים לאור יום, ולחושך קרא לילה. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר, יום אחד.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam metavtim.
Baruch atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
This is not easy to do in plastic gloves. Can you get that from Mara? Thank you. You can go back to your seat. And so concludes, and so concludes the re-scrolling of the Torah. See everybody next week. So now we're going to move forward with announcements. I hope that gave you at least a taste of Simchat Torah and the fun we have. Sadly, we weren't going to dance with the Torahs and pass them around, which would have been really, really lovely. But hopefully you'll get some dancing tonight, turn on some music and dance around your apartments and your houses. I'm going to call in Karen Nyberg now, the secretary of our board, to deliver some announcements. Karen, if you start talking, your image should appear.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's always wonderful to spend a Friday evening with you all. It felt like being there, it felt like dancing in the social hall. It was one of my favorite holidays always. Thank you, Rabbi John. Thank you, Cantor, Noah, and Shai. Thank you, cameo of Sam doing that event. And also, it's always nice to get a cameo of Yair. That's always great. I'd also like to thank Joe and Ira Karnofsky for this sponsoring Simchat Torah. Lovely night. I'd like to say Mazel Tov to Sarah. It was an honor to witness such a beautiful event. I'd like to say Mazel Tov to Harrison and Noah and your families. You're going to be amazing tomorrow. If we were together in the sanctuary, I'd be handing you a very secretive gift of a Kiddush cup, but you will receive that tomorrow, and may you always use them with your families for beautiful occasions and in good health. We have some upcoming events. Please see your emails for the Zoom links. I'll just read through them. On Monday, we have Torah study at 11:30 a.m. On Tuesday, we have knit, craft, and conversation. That's back at a new time of 7 p.m. On Wednesday, we have our ECC community check-in with Rabbi John and Anna at 7 p.m. Also on Wednesday is our book club with Lisa Hanish, where they will be discussing House on Endless Waters. The following Monday, October 19th, please join us for 2 engaging events. At 5:30, we will be joined by Marcia Schwartz from the League of Women's Voters to speak to us about ballot measures in an informative and nonpartisan session. At 7 p.m., we will be joined by Dr. Leslie Botnick, a radiation oncologist at City of Hope, along with our own Kol Tikva survivors to hear about what's Jewish about breast cancer and ovarian cancer. Also this week on Tuesday and Wednesday, the 13th and 14th, it is Amazon Prime Days. And while this is not a Kol Tikva event, it's a great way to support Kol Tikva while shopping. Simply log on to smile.amazon.com and choose Kol Tikva as your charity. If you're anything like me, a package comes pretty much daily from Amazon, and it's a great way to be able to get those little treasures that you ordered while still supporting our synagogue. A little bit of social justice information. The last day to register to vote is a week from Monday on the 19th. Please register and then let us know you registered. And if you are already registered, please let us know. Let's make Kol Tikva a 100% voting congregation. Pledge to vote at www.koltikva.org/event/vote. Please plan. Have a game plan in case your ballot doesn't arrive on time. Please vote early, and remind your friends to vote early. Please stay after the service for our virtual oneg. And lastly, please join us for next week's service on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. Please use the same Zoom link as before, and Shabbat Shalom.
And now we turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. Second time tonight we're doing the Mourner's Kaddish. We did it earlier during our Yizkor service. And I said earlier, and I'll say again to remind each and every one of you, we say the Kaddish not to speak of death, but to remember the glory of God and to remember the glory of all of nature and all that surround us. Because even as remember those who have passed would want us to think about the beauty of this world and to live in it. And so the Kaddish has this strange push-pull tendency because we want to think about the deceased, and we do, but at the same time, the prayer reminds us about life. On our recently departed list, Darren Frank, remembered by the Lincoln, Frank, and Friedman families to be buried on Sunday. Charlotte Spiegelman, remembered by Adam, Melissa Rose, and Alice Spiegelman. Rabbi R.B.O. Bat-Or, remembered by the Los Angeles Jewish community, a true leader in the LGBTQ community. Jean Stamen, remembered by Florence and Erwin Ames. Charlene Sperber, remembered by Lori, Ken, Sarah, and Samantha Spiro, and Helene Heller. Sandra Kazin, remembered by Amy, Victor, Tyler, and Carter Noble. And Ruth Bader Ginsburg, remembered by all those who seek justice in its truest form. We also think of those who died during this season in years past. Sarah Belgrade, Priscilla Jean Burke, Annette Beich, Ethel Brenner, Harriet Coleman, Samuel DeKoven, Bessie Feynman, Andy Foreman, Milton Frangel, Jeanette Freeman, John Frischman, Janet Glick, Samuel Greenberg, Louis Hackle, Samuel Hellman, Sarah Hirschberg, Sheila Howard, Richard Callett, Harold Lawrence, Norman Levine, Francis Licker, Edith Licker, Gloria Lieberson, Penina Batmalka V'Machal, Norma Miller, Gerald Otchis, Harold Robinson, Sam Rubin, Joe Skopp, Bertram Seidlitz, Edith Strauss, Sam Weintraub, Shirley Wolfson, and Mildred Wolf. If you have additional names for our list, please put them up in the chat window right now. Chris Carnell. Any additional names? Any more? If you're in the initial stages of mourning, Shiva or Shloshim, I'd like you to please rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, please rise. And we have two additional names, Judy Wachtel and Howard Gold. So if you're in that first year of mourning, you should be standing. And now if you're observing a yortzeit, I'd like you to rise. And now I'm asking the community to rise, to show their support for all of those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and to show your support for those who are already standing. We turn to page 598, and I will share the book so everyone can have the words in front of them. So we can all say Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba. B'alma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh l'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarak le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabak v'yitba'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'rechu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, chushbachata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high grant peace for all those who mourn, for all Israel, and for all humankind. And together we say, Amen. You may be seated. Cantor is now going to lead us in our closing song, which will then follow with Kiddush and Hamotzi. A short Kiddush tonight, because I know we're running a little long.
שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום,
And now we're all going to pick up our Kiddush cups. We're going to hold them nice and high. I'm going to get rid of my fake background because it's messing me up. We're going to hold it nice and high, and we're going to do a short Kiddush tonight, so that way we can get to our Shabbat dinners. Here we go. Cantor.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן לחיים.
And now we're going to hold up our challahs as I keep spotlighting people. And we're going to, I didn't get to Sandy yet. Got to get Sandy Kalin in here for play spotlight. And here we go. We're going to hold up our challahs. We have them. I'm going to come back to me for a second because once again, my wife baked a beautiful challah everyone needs to see. Actually, she baked this one last week and defrosted it today, but it smells as good as ever. Here we go, Hamotzi.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המוציא לחם מן הארץ בתיאבון. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
And now I'm going to stop the stream and unmute everyone so we can all wish each other a